This is video 2 in my series of using AI in learning and education. I have a question. Do you think we can use AI to create a course or a curriculum? And if we do, will it be any good? I'm going to try this now, so follow me and let's see what the outcome is. You will see that again, I'm using standard ChatGPT 3.5, which is the free version. So let's start by just asking it to create a course and see what it does. I'm going to do something like, let's say, create a course in conflict management. Let's see what it comes up with. Okay, great. It starts with the title, Mastering Conflict Management, Strategies for Effective Resolution. It gives me a course overview. You're welcome at any time to just pause the video to read more detail. I'm not going to read all the detail. And it gives me a course structure. Understanding conflict, conflict resolution styles, effective communication, negotiation strategies, mediation, conflict resolution, managing emotions and stress, and conflict prevention. And it says, it gives me course conclusion and resources and so on. Okay, so it's not bad. It gave me a good overview and probably gives us a good view of what should be included if I was to build a course in conflict resolution. Having said that, it didn't actually ask me any clever questions. It didn't consider the target audience. It didn't consider the specific learning outcomes or context or anything. So as a learning practitioner or as an instructional designer, you should probably know that you can't even start creating a learning journey or a learning experience without understanding the context and without having a clear picture of the learning outcomes that you want to create. In this first version, ChatGPT used a very basic predictive language algorithm to just come up with text based on the input or prompt that I gave it. But we can get a lot more out of it. So what I'm going to do, or what I recommend you do, is to use the persona prompt pattern. Simply what it means is we're going to ask ChatGPT to take on the persona of an expert. In this case, the persona of an instructional designer. And then based on that, we are going to have an interactive conversation or a collaboration with ChatGPT to actually come up with a learning journey that is worthwhile and that actually follows the right process and steps of diligence to create a quality learning outcome. Here's the prompt pattern that I'm using. So I'm saying, act like an instructional designer. Help me create a course on conflict management. I want us to work closely step by step. So I'm setting up the ChatGPT for a collaboration where you keep on prompting me with questions to understand exactly what I want. So I'm setting up a collaboration. I'm asking ChatGPT to first ask me questions to understand what I want, so that we have clarity and so that we follow a more diligent process. Almost like I'm the client in this case. And I'm specifically saying, follow a tried and tested process for creating a quality course. Do you understand? By adding that I wanted to follow a tried and tested process, it will probably scour the data at its disposal and look at processes that are well referenced and well documented and used all over the world. And either use I'm expecting that it will either use a very specific process and maybe quote it, or it will maybe just come up with a process as a combination of everything that is out there. So let's see what it does. It says, absolutely, let's dive into instructional design process. Step by step to create a comprehensive course. So it starts by step 1, needs analysis. To start, let's identify the target audience for this course. Who will be taking it? Are they employees in a specific industry, manager, managers, or individuals seeking personal development. Understanding the audience will help tailor the content and delivery method. Okay, that's great. So it starts with a needs analysis and a little bit of a target audience analysis, but probably not with enough questions the way I think would be necessary. And then step 2, it goes into learning objectives or learning outcomes. Step 3, a content outline, then instructional strategies, then assessment methods, content development, course delivery, and finally evaluation and feedback. It looks like it comes up with a fairly decent process, and I think if we follow this process, it will probably give us a fairly decent outcome. To be honest, I'm not very happy with how it's interacting with me right now. But that's okay, because I can actually tell it how I want it to interact with me. I can either give additional instructions now, or I can go back to my prompt and clarify or change my prompt. So this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go back to the prompt, and I'm going to hit the edit button. And what I want is I wanted to ask me these questions one step at a time. And so I'm going to do this. Ask or let's say this, address these steps in the process one at a time. Let's see what it does now. Interestingly, it checks for clarity. So it's asking me response 1. Absolutely, let's follow a systematic approach to create a high quality conflict management course. Well, we'll start with the first step, conducting a needs analysis. Response 2, it also offers step 1 as identifying learning outcomes. Very interesting. So it actually gives me options now on what I believe I want as a first step. And I can just click on option 1 or 2. I'm going to just go for learning outcomes for the sake of the process and see what it does. It says, what are the specific learning outcomes or learning objectives you want participants to achieve by the end of this course? Let's start by outlining clear and measurable goals that will guide the development of the course content. I will add a few learning outcomes here in raw format and show you what it looks like. I added here some learning outcomes in the rawest possible form without any scientific approach. So I just said, learn how to deal with conflict, learn how to make peace, learn about dealing with aggressive people, and learn how to find ways to work together. I don't have to be perfect in the format of this. I can actually ask ChatGPT to write this in proper learning outcome format, because it will know what the right format is. It will have thousands of examples in its database that it can reference of good formats for writing learning outcome. So I'm just simply adding to this, rewrite these in formal learning outcome format for me. Let's see what it does. First one, it goes into saying, identify strategies for effectively managing conflict in both personal and professional contexts. Outcome 2, apply techniques for promoting peaceful resolutions to conflicts, fostering positive relationships and collaboration. Great. So again, pause the video if you want to go into detail, but I think it's doing quite a good job of going in or writing learning outcomes. In another video, I'm actually going to address how we can create templates. So if you have a very specific format or template in which you want to write learning outcomes, or in which you want to write assessments or define assessment standards, you can actually create a template and teach ChatGPT how to use that template. That's coming up in a next video. So please subscribe to the video and hit the bell button to be notified when these next videos come out. I want to do one extra thing in this journey. I want to actually do a target audience analysis, but I'm going to ask ChatGPT to create a proper questionnaire for me, because right now it's just asking target audience analysis at a very high level. But I want to do it in a very detailed format, so we can actually do it like this. My request simply says, create a questionnaire for a target audience analysis. Do this in a format that is easy to use for a learning consultant in an interview with a client. And there we go. Conflict management training, organization information, training objectives, participant profile, current challenges, preferred learning format, training delivery preferences, assessment and evaluation, excuse me, organizational culture, and any additional information. Great. I think it's actually a good questionnaire. So I can either answer this questionnaire here myself, or I can use this questionnaire, go to my client, get the right information, and come back and continue my process with ChatGPT to create the course. So in summary, I think we can use ChatGPT to create a course or a learning experience or a learning journey, but we have to be careful. We can't just say create a course. We still have to drive the process and drive certain standards and drive a certain format that complies to whatever criteria that you need to comply, or use any scientific base or models that you prefer. As I said in my introductory video, for now, I think AI is good to take over tasks for us, but we still have to drive those tasks. If we use it well, it can actually speed up the process significantly for us and bring a lot of quality into that process and help us cover all the diligent steps on creating really superior quality learning experiences. Looking forward to see you in the next video, where we are going to look at how to create templates and tell ChatGPT in what format we want it to do things.